The end of 2024 is here already. This year seriously flew by. I don't know if you guys felt that way as well, but it is the end of 2024 and I want to do a best of books of 2024. I'm gonna go through what were my favorite books from each month of this year. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. I am so glad for my book community and booktok community and booktok community. I'm just so grateful and I'm so happy that I have found my space, and I'm just so passionate about books, and I love talking to you guys about books and book recommendations and what you loved and what you hated. So let's get into it. Starting off with January. My favorite reads of January were War and His Queen by Amo Jones and House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. Both of those books I had been waiting for a long time. Amo Jones is one of my favorite freaking authors, and War and His Queen is actually the first book in the second generation of the Elite Kings Club couples. So the way I went feral for this book, and I absolutely ate it up. I got the privilege to be an ARC reader for this book, and I was so happy. I literally was crying of how happy I was that I got the ARC. I just love Amo Jones and her world, specifically the Elite Kings Club world, so freaking much. It is one of my god tier series, so I absolutely devoured that book and I loved that book. House of Flame and Shadow, I had also been waiting since Crescent City 2 for Crescent City 3. I absolutely loved it. It was a hefty book, but I didn't mind it. Like I told you guys, I had been waiting so long for this book. I read book 2 as soon as it came out, and I had to wait a year plus for book 3. I absolutely love Bryce. She's one of my favorite characters. I love the little cameos that the ACOTAR characters did in Crescent City 3. A lot of people have mixed opinions about it, but I absolutely loved it so much, and it just tied everything together, and it just really showed who Bryce is as a character, that she will go 10 toes down for her family and her friends and the people she loves. She will risk herself in the process of doing that. I just absolutely love that book. The month of February, all I can eat, sleep, and drink and think about was Magnolia Parks. This was the release of Into the Dark, and I was sobbing so much when I read that book. I absolutely adored it. The grief journey is something that I personally relate to so freaking much. I just felt seen as someone who has gone through losing someone. And Jessa Hastings just writes poetry. The way she writes and describes love and describes the human experience and feelings is just so beautiful. You feel like you're there. You feel like you're the actual character. It is just so well written. The story was so freaking good. I cannot wait for Daisy Hate's book. But Into the Dark, my baby Julian, oh my gosh, that car scene, if you guys know, you know. February, Into the Dark, Magnolia Parks. March, The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. I absolutely love Holly Renee's writing. This was her second fantasy book that she ever read, and I absolutely ate it up. It was so freaking good. The level of spice, the level of shock factor, the level of what the actual crap at that cliffhanger at the end. I absolutely loved it. I like The Veiled Kingdom more than the second book, so March was definitely The Veiled Kingdom. April was dominated by Leigh Rivers. If you guys have not read anything by Leigh Rivers, please go check her out. She is an amazing dark romance author. I read Little Stranger by her in April, and I loved Little Stranger so much that I went to her backlog and I read the Edge of Darkness trilogy. If you know me, you know that if I love a book enough, I will buy it in physical copy, physical form, because I read everything on my Kindle. The second I finished that series, I put in my Amazon order so freaking fast. I have the physical copy. That trilogy is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece. Something about Leigh's writing, the traumatic and chaotic story that is Cade and Stacy, their love story, their trauma, their bond. I think about them every day. It is so freaking good. Do yourself a favor and read the Edge of Darkness trilogy if you haven't already. May. My favorite book of May was Crawl by Audrey Rush. This is a dark stalker romance. He is looking at her like a peeping Tom through the drywall in the cracks, and he's an actual serial unaliver who hides his bodies and victims in the crawl space of houses. This was a mind F. This was so freaking good. I ate it up. My bestie got me the physical copy. I loved it that much. It was so freaking good. My birthday month of June. June was the last and final book for the Legacy of God series, and this was God of War. Like in Ava's book, I absolutely adored it. The amnesia trope in this book, how much Eli cares for Ava and how it's shown and how he actually cares in his own way is so freaking beautiful. I just love a traumatic love story that's gonna hit you right in the heart, right in the feels, and God of War did not disappoint in my opinion. The other book I loved in June was actually The Ever King. My friend had been recommending this book for me for a while, and I finally read it in June, and I'm so mad at myself for not starting it sooner. It is a fantasy having to do with pirates and fae and different worlds separated by the sea. It is so freaking good. Highly recommend. I still need to read book 2 in the series, but book 1, I absolutely ate it up. Eric Bloodsinger is a different type of man, and that is my man. July, I absolutely loved Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher and Quicksilver. So Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher was book 2 in the Lakefront Billionaire series, and this followed Rafa, and Rafa is a single dad, and this is a single dad nanny trope. It is so freaking cute. I loved it. This is another contemporary romance that hits you right in the feels. I could relate to so much in this book, to the traumatic upbringing. It is just so freaking good. Highly recommend the Lakefront Billionaire series by Lauren Asher if you haven't read it already. And Quicksilver was all over my FYP on TikTok, and if you know me, I am scared to read any books that have a lot of hype because they end up letting me down most of the time. But Quicksilver did not disappoint. I will be listening to the audio in 2025, but Quicksilver was such a unique book. Such a unique fantasy book. I have never read this type of magic system before. It was refreshing, it was different, it was unique, it was new. I absolutely loved it. The enemies to lovers in this is chef's freaking kiss. I absolutely love it. You will too. My favorite book of August was Nocticadia by Keri Lake. I actually went into this book blind. I had never read Keri Lake before. This was my book club pick of the month, and I absolutely loved it. This is a professor-student, dark academia. There's a mysterious illness going around in this small gothic town. It's like a parasite or a worm that dead people have in their bodies after they passed. It is a mystery. There is tension. There is banter. It is so freaking good. September. Holy moly. September, I was consumed by the Frozen Fate trilogy by Pam Godwin. When I tell you guys, please do yourself a favor and read this trilogy. You will not regret it. I am just kicking myself for not reading it sooner. That is the only freaking thing. I will be doing a reread of the series because it is that freaking good. Me and my friend Krista Buddy read this, and we both kind of describe it as a darker version of Credence. If you loved Credence or if you hated Credence, as this may not be for you. It is similar to Credence. The reason I say it's similar to Credence is because there's multiple men in a cabin in a secluded place. Okay, that's the only thing. So our female main character gets abducted by a crazy man, and he takes her to a secluded cabin in the tundra, in the winter, in the ice, where no one can get her. And in this cabin are his 3 feral adult sons. It is insane. Please check your trigger warnings if you are going to read this. There is some SA stuff going on that happens. So much trauma. These men have been brought up away from civilization as well. So this story untangles in the 3 books, and it is just so freaking good. It is heart-wrenching. There is a sense of found family. There is a sense of needing to escape this cabin and these crazy people. It is so freaking good. Please read it. I hope you guys do, and you need to let me know how you like it. October, I read and loved Under Your Scars by Ariel Anderson. I actually listened to the audio version of this. I did not read it physically or on my Kindle, and Joe Arden did an amazing job with the male main character. Our main male character is a serial unaliver, and he does an amazing job portraying the emotions, and you kind of feel like you're in the serial unaliver's head because it is just so freaking good. If you guys are gonna do it, I recommend the audio. And I also loved Emperor of Rage by Jagger Cole. This is book 2 in his Memento Mori series. It is about the Japanese mafia, the Yakuza, and I could not put it down. Mal is my book boyfriend of the year. I absolutely loved it. It is dark, it is spicy, it is mafia, it is everything I look for in a dark mafia romance. November was One Dark Window. I absolutely loved One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. I'm just mad at myself for not starting it sooner. It is such a unique magic system with playing cards that grant you magic, and it was just so good. I was fully immersed in the world. I could not put these books down. It was just so freaking good. December, I loved The Naughty List by Jade West. This was a short, spicy novella with every kink in the book imaginable. Our main female character is a call girl, and she's a call girl on this new website where people put in their requests and she fulfills them. So she has a blast going around trying new things, experimenting things for money, and I absolutely ate it up. I had a blast. Please check your trigger warnings. It is one of the smuttiest books I've ever read. And I just finished the arc for The Path to Loving Him by Megan Quinn. And when I tell you guys, I could not put the book down. I read it in a day and a half. I got it at midnight. I finished it like the next day at midnight. It is just so freaking good. I spent the whole Christmas Eve reading it. It is a heartwarming, funny, smutty story about a grumpy man whose sister unfortunately passed away from cancer, and he is in charge of taking care of his niece. And this follows the story of him trying to find love again and finding it in the most random place with his assistant coach. And it is just so freaking good. It is funny. It is witty. There is banter. There's a sense of found family in this community, in this small town. I just absolutely loved it so much. So those were the books that I loved in 2024. I had such a great reading year, and I'm so excited to read so many more books in 2025. Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite book that you read in 2024? Bye!